So I'm so excited to have Laura here. She is a health coach that really helps people with their mindset and getting to feeling really good. And she's actually someone we're going to do an event with. So I am so excited to have her on our podcast. So Laura, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like where'd you grow up, and give us some of your history.
Yeah, so I'm Lara Days. I am originally from Iowa City, Iowa. Go Hawks. But I've been in Dallas for about 10 years now. Grew up playing all sorts of sports, singing, playing violin. So I was a music kid, I was a sports kid, and yeah, I moved down to Dallas in 2015. It was supposed to be temporary, and 10 years later, I have a husband and a house, and I guess I am staying, at least for the near future.
What brought you to Dallas?
So I finished my master's degree in music performance up at the University of Northern Iowa, and that's in Cedar Falls, Iowa, and there's no opportunity there for musicians unless you want to teach at the University of Northern Iowa. So I knew I needed to be in a bigger city. And I had worked in retail management through grad school. So I applied for random full-time retail management positions in basically like cities that had opportunities. So I think I applied for jobs in Denver, Des Moines, Dallas, Chicago, Minneapolis, just like random places. And I ended up getting a job down here at good old Grapevine Mills to open the Limited RIP.
Oh my gosh.
And I
Totally
know,
remember that
right?
brand. Oh
Such a
yeah.
throwback. Still have clothes from there. But yeah, I opened a Limited store back in 2015. And then after they closed, I just was working other random corporate jobs for a while, got back into education for a while. And the whole plan of like going somewhere big so I could sing didn't really work out because when I was in retail management, I was working nights when all of my peers were at rehearsals. So that plan did not did not work out. But I do still sing in choirs around Dallas, some professional choirs. But yeah, that's why I came. And like I said, never thought I would stay. All of this, I was only familiar with the stereotypes about Texas and had no idea that Dallas was actually like a really
A real
cool,
city.
fun city.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I really love it. And like I said, here for now at least.
It's funny on the stereotypes because I mean I was born and raised in Dallas, and so and I grew up playing soccer, and we would go to tournaments like all over the United States. They'd be like, "Oh my gosh, like, do you have an oil well in front of your house?" And I'm like, "No." Do you like go to class like on a horse? And I'm like, "No." I
So
go, "I'm
funny.
pretty sure we're just like you." But it was the Dallas TV show that people like. This is what Dallas is.
That is so funny.
So it's funny the stereotypes that you get, and then you get here and you're like, okay, I can see maybe a little bit of it, but it's just a normal town, just like anything else.
Totally.
So how did you get into health coaching?
That was actually fully accidental.
Usually is.
As I mentioned, I grew up playing sports, I grew up singing, and so I always knew like enough, like I knew things that were going to impact my vocal folds before a performance, and so, I would kind of steer clear of things like alcohol and really up water intake, like very basic things like that. I knew that carbs were good for fueling performance. I went to high school in the early 2000s and we were just like carbo loading the night before high school tournaments and things like that. And that's really all I knew. And so once I was kind of out of school, I played college softball, out of college, trying to figure out this whole health thing on my own. It kind of coincided with the growing popularity of social media and specifically Instagram and Facebook. And so I was posting my own journey through, trying different workouts, learning about nutrition, and people started asking me for help. This was around 2019. And I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing for me. Like, I can't help you. Why are you asking me this? And they were like, I don't know. You just like seem like you're having fun and you're figuring things out. And people kept asking me. And so eventually I was like, okay, well, I guess I should get certified in something so that I can help people. I was at that point a certified yoga instructor, but that was it. So I did my precision nutrition level one certification to be a nutrition coach. And that's when I started helping people. It was actually 6 years ago this month, June of
Wow.
2019. Yeah. So started there, and yeah, that's really kind of what got the ball rolling.
Well, and I mean, just that whole area. I was the same way growing up, playing sports, and yeah, we carb loaded, and even in college, we're like Division I soccer program, and what they're feeding us, and I'm just like, now I look at them like, what the heck? But you're like, if you've been an athlete, eventually your body just starts breaking down if you don't make changes, and so that's mine did, and so I had to go in and just do research because you go to the doctors and it's like, well, it doesn't matter what you eat. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Or, oh no, it's not about your diet. Like you can eat. I mean, these are things that doctors would tell me on stuff. And so it's really needed because there's so many things that you can do um, from a nutrition perspective, but even from like, I know you add also like the whole mindset and how we view things like, that is also a huge component that really can affect our health that's needed.
Yeah, for sure.
So, um, what are some of the clients that you're seeing? What are some of the common patterns that you see of things that you address?
Under eating is probably the number one thing. Everyone thinks that they're eating too much because, especially as women, we're conditioned to eat like birds, and like everyone, we live in diet culture, and so we're taught that the worst thing you could ever be in your whole life is fat, which we know is ridiculous. But people are so afraid of gaining weight, and they're so afraid of, their identity is attached to their appearance and their body size, and especially with former athletes. Being an athlete is our identity, and our
Yep.
body has always been our tool. And so a lot of restriction, a lot of food fear, a lot of body image issues, and this chronic under eating, which is chronic stress on our bodies. So really, like I would say those three things are kind of a Venn diagram, but the middle overlapping portion is very large between among those three things: under eating, food fear, and poor body image.
Yeah. I mean, I'll go through, I have a naturopath that I go through that does like all my blood work and different things. And literally like, he's like, eat 2, 3 servings every meal of like fruits and vegetables. And that those servings need to be pretty decent sized servings on top of like other things that you're doing. And I can just remember going through that program like 3 years ago when I was like, my body's out of balance. I'm not really sure what's going on. And my exercise didn't change at all. And it was
Mhm.
like everything just dropped off. And I'm like, wow, I'm actually eating more than I was before. And and some of it's just getting your body back in balance too, because if there's some out of balance things, and it doesn't matter kind of what you do, you've got to figure out those pieces as well. But yeah, it's, I mean, I never had a problem with eating because I love food, but I can totally see that with a lot of people. Because even like I was with a client, he's an older gentleman. He's like, well, I'm not losing weight anymore, so I'm just going to eat 2 meals a day. And I'm like, what? Like, no.
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
go
and
eat
that's what
like what you're
happens.
eating.
And that's what happens when we focus on weight loss instead of health. Like
Yes.
those two things are not synonymous.
No.
And we're conditioned to believe that they are. And we're conditioned to believe that, oh, if we just figure out this one thing, then we'll lose the weight. And it's like, no,
It's not one
actually,
thing.
bodies are diverse.
Yep.
Just like some people have green eyes and some people have brown eyes and some people have blue eyes.
Yep.
Some people are going to be thin, some people are going to be mid-sized, some people are going to be fat. Like
Yep.
that's just how bodies are.
Yep.
And so, once we uncouple that idea that losing weight and getting healthy are synonymous, that is where a lot of people start to really find true health for their own body
Yep.
because they're no longer afraid of the weight gain and they're no longer chasing a number on the scale or a pant size. They're chasing how they actually feel in their
Yeah.
body.
Yeah. And there's time where you can actually gain weight, but you lose size.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's not the scale is not the end all be it all. And I think people will also like the whole idea of like calorie counting is horrible as well because not all calories are the same.
Well, and it's just, well, but that's a whole, we could record a whole
Oh, a
podcast on
whole yes.
problems with calorie counting. But
Yes.
yeah, my clients don't count anything. They don't get on the scale. We don't take measurements. They don't track their food. That is just not a part of the work that we're doing
Yep.
because study after study after study after study has shown that those things are actually counterproductive.
Yep.
And
You're
that
focusing
one
on the wrong things. Like,
well, and not only that, but it's dieting is the number one predictor of both eating disorders and future weight gain. And so like the studies are pretty clear that
yeah,
that is how that works. And so, we have to start focusing on what we have to gain and what we can add to our lives
yeah.
instead of what we're trying to lose.
Take away. Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So what type of clients do you see? Like who do you help?
Yeah, I mean, I really can help anyone with a lot of different things, as long as they are willing to get uncomfortable and change the way that they think about bodies and their own body and their own health. I do tend to have some former athletes. I do tend to have, folks who are either in recovery for eating disorders or have previously been in recovery from eating disorders, chronic dieters, just people who really feel like they've tried
Right.
everything
Everything.
in air quotes, right? Like I've tried everything and now I'm finally understanding that the dieting doesn't work.
No.
So I'm ready to try something else.
Yeah.
So those tend to be the people that I help the most. But I work with all genders, all ages, all professions. Some people are full-time health and wellness and fitness folks, and some people they might have like never gone to the gym and they work out at home with their dumbbells.
Yeah.
So just it's a pretty wide range for sure, but those usually are the things they have in common.
Yeah.
Are the chronic dieting and just kind of being over diet culture's bullshit.
Yes. Yes. Which needs to be like ended. I
Hmm.
mean, anything that's in the media and the way they talk about these things, it's just horrible. It's horrible. The magazines, horrible.
Yeah, for sure.
So how would someone be able to find you?
I'm on Instagram. They can find me on my website, lauraelizabethcoaching.com. But Instagram is my favorite platform to hang out on for sure. I like to have fun over there. I always answer my DMs. So people can find me there. And anyone who's local in Dallas can also find me at Black Swan Yoga or V12 Yoga. I teach classes at both of those studios. Yeah, so those are usually the best places to find me at the yoga studio or on Instagram.
And we'll make sure that we put those in the description so that you guys can find that easily. Her Instagram as well as her website. So we'll get those up for you guys in the description. So, but thank you so much. We are actually doing an event together and just on like how we can help our body recover and feel good as we go through all the different stages of our life. And I mean, there was a post that I just saw recently, and it was like, your stroke didn't happen in your 80s; it happened in your 30s, and your immobility didn't happen, in your 70s; it happened in your 40s, and like
Mhm.
it's really true. So like, no matter what age you are, it started a long time ago. So whether you're going to be 20 or you're 80, it's not too late because I've seen it with my mom, where
Mhm.
we've really been able to change her around for doing some of the things that we're going to be talking about at this event. And I mean, she's 82 and she's traveling the world. She's about to go to South Africa.
Amazing.
And her mobility about 5 years ago was not great. And she was very fearful that she wasn't going to be able to travel anymore. And her life was slowly like going to slip away. So it's not true. And she's older. So like start now.
Yeah.
But
No, and that's such a good point that you make because I hear the same thing from people too. They're like, "Well, I'm already in my 50s, like it's too late." And I'm like, "No, it's not." Like I have clients in their 50s and 60s. Like
yes,
the best time I love this quote. Like the best time to start was yesterday, but the next best time to start is now.
absolutely. Yeah. So it's kind of like it doesn't matter what age you are, you're going to learn something that's going to help you long term. And that's really why we put this event together. So I'm excited to do this. We'll have the event link as well in the description so you guys can find that as well. So, but yeah, no, thank you so much. This is awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited.